Like we get this implied montage, of Keva being like, "Oh, hi, I've been assigned as your chaperone," and "Oh, look, here are my compatriots who just happen to be here." And I think it just doesn't really fly. But the people that you are approaching here want you to think that you have succeeded in deceiving them. So they're trying to trick you into thinking that you have tricked them.
But we know that they know.
You only have eyes on one set of people, and presumably it's the set of people that is not likely to be doing anything because they're acting as a decoy for you. You can see there's, as usual in the spaceport, there's the whirring of machines all over the place. And there's on one side of you a ship with a glass side, and inside you can see a bunch of Centaurans who are swimming around having their own cafe experience. But you are sitting out here around a couple of round tables with 4 of the people that you wanted to keep an eye on out of about 12 that you were hoping to keep your eyes on. 4 of them are here with you, and you've been drawn all the way up here to the spaceport, to this cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Here you are. They are making very bland small talk, like asking you really generic questions about like, oh, and what type of ship was this back when it was going between the stars? Was it the type of ship that engaged in combat with your enemies, or was it perhaps a trading ship, or was it perhaps one that transported things between larger ships? Now that it is a cafe, I am curious about what it did in its previous incarnation.
Keva just kind of like looks at them for a minute, and it's just sort of like, let's be frank here. This is one of the ships that we took over from the sun.
Oh my.
I don't know. I don't know if it is.
I have heard only the briefest of descriptions of this history. Perhaps you could regale us with details of how that came to be.
Well, let me ask you, what have you heard about the sun?
I had heard that the sun was a false star that was providing what is the term false premises to the people living on a space station, was it? This person you are speaking to looks kind of like a cockatoo. The cockatoo look about this person is largely the head with the feathered crest, and they have a feathered body as well. But they have 4 arms, and the arms end in these 4-digit talons. And their legs are fairly standard legs. Like, they're not bird legs. The legs are also feathered, and they do have a tail that comes out from the back. There's no wings. This is sort of like a squat, muscular cockatoo person, white plumage, with a yellow beak, which they are using to speak. Intelligent eyes. They have 4 of them for 4 eyes. And the outfit that they're wearing is, it's got a lot of ruffles to it. Like, it looks like a very sleek material in greens and blues, with a lot of ruffles around the neck and the arm holes and such. No sleeves, and the pants to match, with this ruffly stuff sticking out at the knees and the ankles as well.
Okay. The sun was a group of corrupt individuals from one of our planets that got swallowed by the emergency and consumed. And they were a group of a military installation that then decided to take over that space station you were talking about for their supplies and all of that. And eventually their space station was, well, mostly dismantled and removed from that space station by a group of revolutionaries who now hold a lot of power here.
A fascinating and inspiring tale, no doubt. These revolutionaries are the rulers of this city now, yes?
No.
You would think, after all the effort that they put forth to set things right, that there would be more deference and respect paid to them.
They have deference and respect, don't get me wrong, but they aren't in charge of everything.
I see. I see. Perhaps there is wisdom in that approach. And the The other two come from inside. They're similar. Similar in appearance. They have different colored plumage. The other one who is out here with you is one of these particulate tubes, sort of twisting about itself. The particulate tube has not spoken at any point during these entire proceedings and has just been floating along the whole while. But the bird person to whom you are speaking was introduced as Eskrabeskra with the pronouns he and him.
Mm-hmm.
Eskra accepts a cup from one of the two other bird people and dips his beak into it briefly and does that little thing as he attempts to drink it, clearly used to drinking from different types of receptacle, and says, a strange, slightly bitter taste, flavor to this beverage that you have. A coffee.
Yep, coffee.
This is the recommended beverage then.
Well, I don't know if they recommend it, but it depends on your tastes. Do you like bitter? We could always sweeten it up with some sugar sweetener.
Gives a bird smile, which involves the eyes kind of crinkling upwards into those upwards arcs that you see in happy eyes and happy faces, and tilting his head to the side. He says, yes, sweetening the pot, as it were, is, perhaps part of the reason that my compatriots are in negotiations, yes, with your merchants collective. Always good to offer a sweetener to things that may seem at first unfamiliar or bitter even. So what do you want to get out of this situation? What moves do you want to make here? We could spend a very long time going through these essentially meaningless conversations that they are doing to try and Sokka, really.
I think like Keva is getting an idea of what they are all about. And I think that at this point, I think Keva wants to kind of scare them off and think, oh, wow, this is just a band of dangerous, powerful revolutionaries. We don't want to get mixed up with these people.
Okay. Good. What's the rest of the myriad up to while this is happening? Are you all here together, or did some of you break off?
Oh, I hope they broke off there.
I'm trying to find the other members of the delegation.
Ditto.
Okay. So is Ollie still here?
Ollie will go with them.
Okay. So it's just Keva Keva is still with them up here.
Mm-hmm.
And Ollie, Jojo, and Reaching have tried to make their exits at various points here. Let's see how that's going, and then we'll pop back here and see how Keva's intimidation efforts are going.
Oh, I just totally had an amazing idea.
All right, hold on to it. You're hunting. Okay, so what does this look like? And we'll figure out what we're going to roll for it.
Reaching is trying to run coordination for the other two on the ground, if that makes sense to y'all, and working with the Logistarch to try to figure out if the other group has further splintered and where they went and what they might be doing. So Reaching's on a rooftop or jumping from roof to roof, trying to run coordination.
All right. And Jojo and Ollie, are you together, or is Ollie with Reaching and Jojo's on their own, or what's the distribution of the party at this moment? We've got up on the mountain at the spaceport, Keva. Further down in the city, on a rooftop, Reaching. Ollie and Jojo.
I think Ollie would probably be with Reaching.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jojo will just be parkouring.
Okay.
Parkour.
Another reason why Ollie wouldn't be with him. Ollie would have to be on his back.
Mm-hmm. On their back, yeah. All right. So let's do some rolls. We're in a desperate position, which means that the desperate in this case is not like, oh, you're under attack or people are shooting guns at you. The desperate is we don't know where these people are and they've scattered. So that's the desperation there. We don't know where they are. We're trying to find them. Do you want to do like a group roll for finding them, or do you want to do individual stuff to reflect that you're searching separately? What's the goal here?
I was gonna do a Wayfarer roll. I don't know if y'all had different ideas about how you were gonna search.
Okay. Wayfarer, I think, would have limited effect because it's not about finding people. It's just about moving through. So
true.
It would have a limited effect, like because you're trying to just cover as much ground as possible and hoping to run into them by wayfaring. And that's, I think, how that would approach would be limited effect. Yeah, something like trace would probably be more effective here in looking specifically for someone, or shadow even perhaps. Oh, you'd have to find them first.
I wonder, could I use tune to try to, like, I don't know, find the bad vibes I got from the sea cucumber before?
You could give it a shot. Yeah, that's certainly because you've had that encounter. You might have better luck finding someone of that same species, or at least someone of that same disposition.
Yeah, I think I'll try that.
Okay, we'll call that desperate, and we'll put it a standard effect for you.
A double
Okay.
ones.
Double ones.
What's
All
with
right.
these doubles tonight?
I like it. I think Matt put the phooey on us.
Okay. Well, the good news is you get an experience in semiosis. So congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. Okay. So
Your head explode.
no heads exploding here. But let's see here. I want to make sure that I am approaching this properly. Desperate consequences.
What if we just had that disease where it feels like your head is exploding and it's not?
Okay. So what happens here is okay. Yeah. Serious obstacle. Okay. I know. What happens here is you are charging through across the rooftops and such of the city of Medleystead, and as you are approaching, what neighborhood should we have this in? Okay, it's desperate. So I'm going to say the Free Medical Hospital compound. You land on top of a large, wide fungus roof here, and I think a lot of the fungus roofs here are red with white spots, and the white spots have been coaxed to appear in like the shape of a cross. So that's how you recognize like clinics and medical buildings, is they've got the red fungus roof, like a big mushroom cap with white cross spots on it in various sizes distributed across them. So you land on top of one of these roofs. It's a little bit spongy, but you can feel that it's solid, of course. Otherwise, you wouldn't be running across them. And there's that smell of cinnamon and disinfectant and people bustling about in the streets below. Someone looks up at you and squints a bit against the glare of the solar array, and then it's like, that's the shark person. And they give you a little hesitant wave.
I wave back.
And they smile and continue on about their day. And in that moment, you notice that you hadn't really realized it, but you're holding that shell in your hand, and it's very warm. In fact, it's hot, and it's starting to burn your hand as you hold on to it. And just as it is reaching like this white, hot, glowing heat, there's a sound in the air behind you, like a tearing of fabric. And as you turn your head, there is suddenly a knife sweeping down towards your neck, and you take the level 3 harm, lacerated.
Oh my.
Exploding head wasn't off the money then.
I would very much like to resist that.
Okay. How do you want to resist this? I mean, it's probably going to be kinesis. Let's see. You've got options, of course. You've got your melody option. You can declare armor. I think that would take most of your load. Or you can just resist it old school.
I think I'll just spend my melody for this one.
Okay. You mark off your melody, and that's hits keep coming. You can play your melody to completely avoid harm from attacking combat, or to push yourself during a fight. In this case, completely avoid harm. So how do you react to this sweeping blade slashing down towards your neck?
I think I'll hot potato the shell at the knife.
Okay. All right. So the knife is sweeping down, and you toss the shell up towards it, and the knife sweeps to the side like a sudden desperate swerve, one that would be impossible for an arm with bones in it to make. But this one arm somehow manages to just move the knife out of the way so that it does not strike and shatter the shell. And the shell kind of skitters away to a different part of the rooftop. It's leaving a bit of a scorch mark, but seems to be cooling down. Nothing's on fire. And you turn around, and before you see that person again, the one you battled at the outpost. And they have that knife in one of their long noodly arms in the front. And they're standing in that ready pose again with their thicker clawed legs digging into the mushroom roof, and the other 4 of their arms drawing knives from their belt. And their beak opens up again, and this time the sound that it emits, there's a moment after it emits the sound, and then you hear like a speak and spell type voice from a device that it is wearing clipped to its knife belt. And the voice says, "We meet once more, warrior." And I think we will cut from there to see what Ollie and Reaching are up to.
Oh, fuck.
What are we
I
up
can't
to?
be left unsupervised.
You're getting into an anime battle. Oh, boy.
Pretty normal state of affairs.
Yeah, that's true.
That is the one thing JoJo was built to do.
Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a clock
Yep.
for this mission. And this clock is something that you need to fill in order to find and figure out what's going on with at least one of these groups of people. So I'm going to create this clock, and everyone can contribute to filling it in different ways. And it's going to be a 6-tick clock. I'm going to put the clock name as surveillance, and I'm going to make one other clock.
Oh, no. I don't like other clock.
And the second clock is a 4-tick clock, and that is to find a connection to the game if it
Okay.
exists. So everyone involved can contribute to either or both of these clocks, and you just tell me what you're doing to contribute to them. So Ollie and Reaching, is your focus right now on, well, obviously your focus right now is probably on finding one of these groups, right?
I was going to
Okay.
suggest a group Wayfair, or Trace, rather.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sorry, I'm pulling up my sheet.
No
You have
sweat.
one in Trace, looks like.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can do that.
And Reaching also has one in Trace. Okay. So Desperate, I think using Trace here and your knowledge of the city, I will say that this is great effect, because you know this city very well, the two of you.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yay.
Okay. No stress for anybody. Reaching got a 6, Ollie got a 4. So with great effect, that ticks this clock up by 3.
We're still. Never mind. I'm sorry, I got confused.
Okay.
We are good at this game.
Yeah. As you
No.
are. What? Sorry, what's that, Ollie?
No, I just said I know. I'm surprised. I was just so taken aback that we had rolled decently.
I thought you said no. I was like, what?
Like, that's fair, to be honest.
Mm.
Okay,
No.
so you are making your way through the rooftops, and you find yourselves making your way you're making your way back up to the spaceport as you follow these signs, but a different part of the spaceport. You are following towards them, and eventually you see in the distance a huge mining freighter up in the sort of the outskirts of the spaceport here. This massive old mining freighter that looks like it has the telltale aesthetics and technology of the logistocracy fleet. And, obviously it is grounded and it's been converted into something or other. It doesn't seem to have any official records of what's actually happening there. It looks like it might be abandoned, but the clues, the trails seem to be leading you in this direction. And so you're making your way towards it, and you can see there appears to be some activity going on outside one of the loading bays of this mining freighter.
Like what kind of activity?
From where you are right now, it's hard to tell. There's some movement out there. It looks like there might be some people there.
What do you think? Should we head over there?
Love, I'd like you to maintain this position. I'm going to try to get closer.
Okay, I'll keep my eyes peeled. Let me know if you need anything.
Oh, I'll be shouting.
Let's see. Ollie, you have. I'm just looking at the gear available. There doesn't seem to be like binoculars.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, we've got magnifying
Oh.
lenses. Just not binoculars.
I think that maybe like a multi-tool, we can say.
Under analysis pack, it says optical scanners.
Okay, yeah, there's that. Yeah, optical scanners, other equipment for scientific analysis. Yeah, that could probably work. Survival pack. Well, we're not in the wilderness right now. You've got your basic comms.
I can declare my scope lens, which is a weightless piece of gear. It's an eyepiece equipped with high zoom and full spectrum filter.
I mean, that sounds good.
I'll hand that to Ollie. It costs me no weight because it's italic.
Yeah, it's a signature gear for you.
Great.
Okay.
Ollie will take it.
Okay. Looking through it, you can see that indeed some of the people from your dossiers are down there, and like they're just outside of this secondary, looks like a secondary loading bay door, and they're having a conversation with some people that you can't really make out. We're standing just inside the ship, but they appear to be talking to each other, and it does not appear to be a hostile interaction. As you are moving closer here, Reaching, do you want to be seen or do you want to not be seen?
I would prefer to remain unseen.
Okay. Probably shadow in that case. Ollie, do you want to help out by like giving directions and
Oh yeah, Ollie will, let them know where they're located right now, and if they move at all, Ollie will let them know.
okay. So you take a stress for assistance, and then reaching, you can get an extra die for your move there. This will be a standard effect to sneak up to them,
All right.
probably shadow.
Ollie is on Overwatch. All right.
Yeah. A 6. There we go. Yeah, that Overwatch die helped, I think, is a 1 and then a 6.
Feast and famine.
Exactly. So yeah, mark your experience in kinesis there.
I'm so good at this game with my best friend and love.
Did you both mark an experience in analysis for your group trace that you did?
Oh, you
Yeah,
best
yeah,
believe.
we did. We'll
Okay,
take
good.
it.
Yeah, just want to make sure. Okay, so you are able to sneak right up to them and like not right up to them, but you're close enough that you can hear them now. And like if you have some equipment that might help you like hear them better or like get a better look without making a big deal out of it.
Periscope.
You've already given your scope lens over to Ollie, but
I
if there's
have
anything else you could use.
in the analysis pack they got microscopes. No microscopes. I'm misunderstanding what that means.
Hmm.
Literally, I'm so dumb. I thought it was one of those scopes that you can point at people to hear them, but I am very smart, I promise. I have tracking beacons. As
Okay.
also
Beam a signal back to your lens. I'm sure specifically linked to other computers networks.
it's just a signal.
Okay, they beam a signal back to your scope lens.
So maybe Ollie could overhear them if I can get closer.
Yeah, if you can get one of those trackers down towards where they are, then Ollie will hear it, and you and Ollie have secure comms that you can share that on.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'll do that if I can.
For sure. I think this move will move towards the clock that you're going to do. How do you want to get it down there? What action do you want to take?
Yeah, I still want to be quiet.
Could be finesse, maybe?
Finesse something into or out of someone's pocket. I mean, that seems how close am I?
I would say you are like on the roof of like maybe the next ship over, on the top of the next ship over.
Okay. Yeah, I try to pick my target as someone who is either wearing clothing or someone who will not, like, obviously not one of the people who are particulate masses.
Yeah, probably
Like-
harder to get it on them.
Someone who wouldn't notice a small piece of gear on themselves. Like, ideally, someone wearing clothing.
Okay.
And I'm running close, but I'm gonna do myself a little charm veil just in case, just to be super sure.
Okay. Currently, we have, I think, 3 harmony at the moment because
Oh,
you started with
come on.
2, and then there was a
6s. Yeah.
6 in that assisted action that you did.
Then maybe I'll just do. Yeah, I'm gonna take one of the harmony and do a finesse.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah. So this is your position is still desperate here. I think with this finesse. Okay, standard effect.
Okey doke. With your powers combined,
I think you're close enough and good enough at this kind of thing. You could be standard effects.
got a 4.
Okay, you got a 4. All right. So I'm going to tick the clock up by 2 for standard effects.
I'm so good at this espionage. Yes.
Okay.
Get it.
So the tracker lands on the back of one of these bird type people who's wearing a hooded outfit. It's like a what am I thinking of? Like not a sweater, a jacket. It's just like a hooded jacket, like a light hooded jacket type thing that they're wearing over their looks like a red bodysuit. And this bird person, similar build again. They got the 3 arms with the similar claws and the stout legs. And the bird that this person most resembles, if we're looking at earth birds, would be a toucan, in that they have a very long, prominent beak, and their feathers are black with some white over the belly and the neck. And they also have 4 eyes, and their 4 eyes are yellow in color with the pupil in the middle.
So are we going to run into Clay at some point?
Into who? Quay? No. Well, who knows? But no, because Quay is from a copyrighted property. So
I
yes,
was gonna make another copyright joke.
Someone
Yeah, so
eerily
the-
similar to, but legally distinct enough from Quay.
yeah, so it's a toucan person with 4 arms, again, no wings on this person. And I think the little tracer lands in the hood, in one of the folds of the hood in the back there. So the audio is not perfect, but you are able to hear, and they are talking to the people on the inside. And this person is saying, Well, I understand that there are some obstacles to the distribution of the product, but we were assured by our contact that you would be able to circumvent the usual procedures that are required here. Have we been misled as to the capabilities of your organization? And the voice that you hear from the inside is, it sounds just like a human voice, and the person says, "You have not been misled, but what you will find is that they run a pretty tight ship here in Medleystead, and a lot of people are mistrusting of anything coming in from the outside. Given our history, I hope you can understand that. We're working on it. But we need time before we can move it in and distribute it as much as you want." And so that conversation is continuing, and Ollie and Reaching, you're both hearing it. Yes, so that's what's going on over there. Let's zip back up to Keva. What's your great idea that you had?
Keva's gonna take them on a tour,
Okay.
another place to tour, and it's like the sparring grounds. Like it's basically a gym, but it has a sparring area.
Okay. And are you staying you're in the same neighborhood now. So Ollie and Reaching, are you looping Keva in on what's happening here?
This is closer to the bazaar.
You're heading back down into the city.
hmm
Okay. So was there an update, or are you too far away for that kind of update, or too busy for that kind of update right now, Ollie and Reaching?
I mean, Ollie could give an update if, as long as it could be, received from that distance.
Yeah, I think you can send, as long as it's not something that, like, you can't necessarily encrypt it. So it would need to be like something in code, or like a code word that you'd established beforehand. Maybe like the
Yeah.
plan is, move your group out of the area because we're coming in here now or something.
Yeah. I'm not sure what code word we would have come up with, but I think that we probably want something that's not so, obvious, like so far the plan is going, as expected, or we found someone. So, I assume we'd have a key phrase for things going well, key phrase for we need help, and key phrase for shit's hit the fan.
Situation is umbrella jam. Repeat umbrella jam.
Jolly needs a new pair of shoes.
So Ollie will use the code for everything's going well.
Okay. So Keva, you got that code as and you're moving your group down to the sparring grounds, and what's happening down there?
So Keva is like, well, I'm sure that you all would like to see the bazaar since your main interest is trade. But on the way there, perhaps you'd like to see some local celebrities.
Local celebrities. Yes, we are always interested to meet great people in any civilization that we meet. Please, yes, we would love to meet your best and brightest.
Well,
Beskra says, getting to his feet and gesturing for his other birds and the still silent particulate tube.
it's a little bit harder to meet some of them, but I'm pretty sure we can talk to. Well, no, we can't talk to her because you don't want to talk to her. Um, and then Keva's like, well, we can see one of the revolutionaries. I don't know if we'll be able to talk to them, but I do have a line on a psychic goat.
Psychic goat. Yes, of course, that would be fantastic. They say, and as you're moving down into the area, so is Jolly meeting you at the sparring ground?
No.
I mean, Jolly will throw down, but
Jolly is kinetically throwing a bunch of like fucking military goons around.
She would.
She would, no
Good.
doubt about it.
I don't think she's Emran's sparring partner though here, because that's one of the celebrities that Keppa is going to have them observe. Intimidation.
Okay, so you're going to try and scare them a bit about this and put the fear in them.
Yes.
So yeah, tell us how this looks as it's happening.
So I would say like this is on the outside of the bazaar area, but it's basically a big gym with outside areas. And oh wow, wouldn't you believe? I knew that this was his favorite sparring place, and here's one of our revolutionaries, Emran Pak. I don't know who Emran's sparring with. Mike, do you have any ideas?
What was the name of that jacked fish cyborg friend that we had?
From
Oh, the Barracuda lady.
Oh,
just a second, I'll have her name in just a moment. Okay, so they're here. Okay, I didn't know they were in the city. That's good. So
but Kevin messaged Emran just to clue him in, just to basically say, coming by with some narcs, ignore us.
What? Oh.
To use Steve's vernacular.
yeah, I'm perfectly happy for the enduring loop to be in Medley's stead.
Yeah,
I think the person that you are speaking of is Ravening Zenith.
that was it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ravening Zenith, a silently burning light destroys the water's edge. A barracuda-like cyborg centauran with just super jacked arms.
Yeah.
so Keva is like, oh, it's a member of the Enduring Loop and Emran Pak, ravaging Zenith, and they're sparring. And she kind of stands there and watches. I'm sure there's probably other gym bros, like gym friends, gym fam watching.
Oh yeah, this is the scene in The Matrix, where they're like, Morpheus is fighting Neo, and everyone scrambles in to watch.
It's like they're finally fighting. This is
Yeah,
like when
I think-
Garrus and Shepard have the shoot off in Mass Effect.
Oh
3.
yeah.
Yeah, I think probably Emran doesn't do this kind of sparring exposition
No.
often,
Not at all.
maybe not ever. So whatever it is that brought Ravening Zenith and Emran Pak out to spar together, it's just people are just like dropping everything. There's notifications going out on social media over the wave. People are taking videos of this happening. Everyone is super duper psyched to see that's Emran Pak. That's Emran Pak. Yeah, so I think the excitement there will also what's the word I'm looking for? Will also increase the impact of this here.
I want to make it very clear that Keva is not being Keva right now. She's like disguised.
Okay, so it's the scene from Robin Hood.
like in manner or physically disguised?
Oh, physically disguised.
Ah,
just so that people aren't like, oh, and Keva's here. Oh, is Keva gonna fight? I don't want people to be like, oh, Keva Drama, noted, also revolutionary to these people, because she's just trying to be show schmo.
Okay, so Keva has put on a hat
and sunglasses.
Hat and sunglasses.
Yeah, obviously no silver hair. It is fully retracted.
Okay. So what role do you want to do here?
I don't know if this is bluff.
Is there a role for wife guy? Do they have that?
Yeah, I think this could well be bluff. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Do we get a +1 with a bunch of friends helping me on the side there?
Let's see here. I think, like I said, I think the fact that this is like a celebrity event and everyone's super excited about it will increase the impact of the action that you do. You have 2 harmony available, and you can of course push yourself if you want.
I am going to push myself.
Okay, go for it.
The 2 stress, so that's a total of 3 or 2 die, or
Yeah, you can also won't go quiet as well. You can spend your melody to push yourself when trying to connect with or persuade people. That's an option you could take.
Ooh.
same as bluffing.
You're trying to persuade them that you're dangerous and they shouldn't mess with you, right?
That's not dangerous, obviously, but
Keva's plenty
Keva's
dangerous.
very
No,
dangerous.
no. I know that Keva's dangerous. You know that Keva's dangerous. I'm not saying that she's trying
Keva's
to be
playing
like,
the part of a non-dangerous person. Okay.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. The point is that we as a collective
Mhm.
should not be messed with.
This city is full of crazy people.
But actually, we had like people in the sky who were just like, you know what? Let's be bees. Why not?
You know what? We have the technology, and I think the world has already ended. Let's be bees.
Yeah.
There's an AI. There's several AI. There's people who, for no reason, like to jump across dimensions. There's an evil devil train.
All right. So are you using your melody to push yourself or your stress to push yourself here?
I did stress.
Okay. You're keeping your melody in your back pocket there.
So that's
Okay. Are you going to? So you're pushing yourself for extra die.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good
Yeah. All right.
Good things. Good vibes. Good vibes. Good vibes.
we're at
Energy.
2.
So roll your bluff there. Let's
Good
see how we do.
energy.
The
Yes.
6. Very nice.
Good energy.
Okay, so I think that
Uh,
in doing this, they are. I think you achieve your effect. Like when these people go home, they are going to tell whoever they're reporting to, like we need to be super cautious here because they have some wild ass superheroes over there. Like the sparring match between Emran and Ravening Zenith, I mean, is probably just a kinetic masterpiece of destruction. Like the field is set up with nanobots build up a variety of obstacles and it's like an American Gladiator style set or something. And over the course of this friendly sparring match with like padded weapons and stuff, the two of them just completely devastate the entire arena. Like all of the constructed obstacles are just dust by the end of this. Like they can rebuild. It's nanobots, but it's just in watching it, the effect is if you are on their side, like you're going, hell yeah. If you
Yeah.
are potentially thinking of fighting them, you're like maybe peeing your pants a little or a lot at this. Yeah. Like would Emran be using his powers here? Like to build stuff, like grab like big hands coming out of the ground or
If Emran has been clued in, I don't think so, because Emran is doing this for Keva, to like, hey, let's put on an exhibition and publicly intimidate these dignitaries. No holds barred spar match between the two of the craziest people in the city. Then yeah, but right now Emran is
Okay.
holding back on
the
purpose,
full
just so
picture
they
of
don't
what you're
have
capable
full.
of. Okay, yeah. So I think Ravening Zenith, likewise, is. I don't think you've ever actually seen her fight, like
We've
on
only
screen.
been
I don't think.
threatened with the idea of it.
Yeah, but yeah,
I mean,
it's when
we've
she.
hard
Go ahead.
trained with her once,
Mhm.
if I remember.
Okay, yeah, like her movements are perfect. Like there is not a wasted micrometer of motion in her fighting. Like she moves only when she absolutely must, and then when she does move, it's in exactly the right way. And it's a testament to Emran's own abilities. Even though he has retired from this kind of life, the muscle memory, the power of that training that has been built into him, and let's face it, the trauma of having had to be a child soldier, it's still in there, and his movements have that power, that almost wildness to them, but it's still directed, still controlled, and the combination of these two wildly different styles, and Ravening Zenith fights with Ravening Zenith is in this way kind of like Jackie Chan in that she will just take what is around her to use as a weapon. So,
My
a
God, she's
stick,
got a precious
a ladder,
vase.
yeah, a vase, whatever's there. So that's it's a very impressive, amazing thing. Like this would be a huge budget moment. This battle between them, just the crashing, the thunder, and the raucous
budget.
cheering of the audience.
Oh,
Yeah, and
blow.
yes, I see you have very impressive individuals in your city. Are these typical of your warriors?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we've all gone through a lot of serious shit.
I mean, there are people who are even more dangerous.
Yeah, they're definitely are dangerous people, Keva says, thinking. I mean, like,
They're just having a friendly match.
yeah, they're just doing this for fun. I mean, I would not want to go head to head with the Spider Queen. That would
And I think despite
terrifying.
his best efforts to control it, his crest flattens very slightly against his head. It's Spider Queen. Oh yes, I see. And he turns back to watch the last moments of the duel, and as we see Emran's blade come, padded blade, of course, come roaring down, the scene transitions in its passage, Star Wars style, from this sparring ground to a battle not too far away on the rooftop as the knives of this person swing into motion heading towards Jojo. What do you do?
I think last time I fought very defensively whilst trying to figure this creature out, so I think this time I may try to catch it off guard by just kind of going full out from the start.
Okay. Yeah, so you charge in. You are still in a desperate position here, but yeah, give it a roll. Let's see how we do. What action you want to take? I'm guessing skirmish, right?
Skirmish, yeah. A 1
so
and a
desperate.
2.
I've taken
so
all
desperate
your sixes.
standard
I'm
effect
sorry.
here.
Yeah, I'm back to normal.
Yeah, 2, 1, 2.
I'm nothing if not consistent.
The old 1-2, huh?
Okay, so yeah, you go in swinging, and I think the issue here is that in your last encounter, you had to figure out the unfamiliar fighting style of this person, and you did. And the issue is those weren't their only tricks. So you are charging in, ready for, like maybe you've been training for, or preparing for, or, theory crafting in your head. What's that chess show? Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit, yeah.
Even Queen's Gambit style, envisioning how your next battle would go. But your opponent here just has a completely different fighting style for you this time. And as you charge in, expecting the type of fight that you've done before, instead, it's just like almost a 180. They're doing a completely different set of moves on you. And I think logically here, I can't reduce the level of impact below 2. Or below standard. I guess I couldn't. Yeah, that's 4 or 5 only. Okay. Yeah. So your punches, are you using your soul energy, your spirit energy in your attack here?
Yeah, I imagine I'm just always doing that just because I have the Reverie School thing and I have potency and unarmed. And
Okay.
I don't suffer any penalties for, fighting folks who do have weapons. So
Okay. I think what your opponent does here is they whip one of their noodly limbs around your punching arm, and you can hear a bit of a sizzle as your spirit energy burns their flesh a bit. But they very slightly adjust the trajectory of your strike down into the roof below you, destroying it. And the consequence here is that I'm going to add 3 heat to your mission for destroying property in this way.
I mean, what if destruction of property, if not remodeling enduring?
Yeah, I mean, you can of course, you can always resist consequences, but that's the consequence there. Now add 3 heat as Jojo inadvertently, but in full view of the people on the street below, destroys the roof of this clinic. Okay. Yeah. So it smashes through, and the two of you are on the broken edge of the roof here, and sort of balancing, and they retract their arm and they say, "Hi, Leto, through way, you," as they go into yet a different fighting position with their knives ready.
They said their name is Leto Thruway?
Yes.
Well met, Leto Thruway. I'm Jojo.
Joe, worthy. And they come for you again. We're going to briefly cut back to what's going on with Ollie and Reaching. So you've heard that information. You are very close to having figured out what's going on here. What do you want to do? Ollie, Reaching?
I'm not sure.
What happened?
The missing piece here would either be figuring out who it is that they're talking to, or what it is that they're talking about moving would be maybe the missing piece of this puzzle.
I mean, what could we just listen in some more to see, whether or not they actually make reference to that?
Yeah, I mean, you can just keep listening if you want, for sure. You can try to nudge things one way or another, or you can try to get a better look inside. You can tap in the Logistark or something to maybe see what moves around from this area. You got options. If you want to just listen, that's fine. We've got, I think that's probably Shadow, Spy, or Eavesdrop. How are we feeling?
Mike, what do you think?
I want to get another one of the tracking beacons into that room, ideally on the person, the other person. That's what I want to do. If I can patch in the Logistark to start moving things, that's also another thing. But I think Reaching wants reconnaissance on both parties.
Okay. Ollie, do you want to support this role with
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess Ollie is maybe trying to mark the target. Because
Yep.
you've got on that scope lens, let's see, it's got full spectrum filters. So you can probably infrared type thing. Even if you can't see their face, you can at least see where they are and paint that target.
All right.
Okay. So you take a stress for assist, and Reaching through the night. This is probably either finesse or trace. I mean, if you want to shoot it in there, specifically get it on the person rather than throw it. Well, I guess that's attack with precision. So trace or finesse, I could see either one working here.
I think I'm going to take another Harmony as well, if that's okay with the party.
You got
Go
2
for it.
left.
Go for it.
Okay. I'm gonna roll 3 dice, and then I think finesse. I'm gonna get in there.
Okay, so you're taking a harmony. Are you pushing yourself to?
I might need that stress. I only have 4 left, so.
Okay, because your finesse is 1 die, right? And if you're getting help from Ollie, so that's 2. Okay, all right. And then the third one is from the harmony. All right, go for it.
Let me do this.
You're desperate. This will again be standard effects.
That's a 6.
That's
Woo!
a 6.
Yeah.
Harmony 6. Okay,
Noise.
I'm going to fill that clock for you. Okay.
As you should.
All right, so you've filled it there, and so that overfills the clock. I'm actually, because of what you're about to learn, going to put one of those ticks into a different clock, an overflow one, because you can't necessarily see the face of the person, but you get that tracer onto one of the people on the inside. And by pulling in the Logistarch as well, you can run sort of a quick, like a voice recognition, voice matching kind of thing. Like, does this voice match anyone who has spoken on the public record or anyone who has uploaded anything? And with the Logistarch's assistance, and she's like, just give me a moment, listening through. And she says, I have a match, and pauses for a moment. Ooh, bad news. And she sends you a picture of the person whose voice you've been hearing talking. And you get the name of Orson Ye. Orson Ye is a former Logistocracy sergeant, so the Logistarch is familiar with him. And his current affiliation is with the Free Realms Commission.
There were spies. I was right.
Well, we don't know if they're spies, because, I mean, the Free Realms Commission.
Are pirates.
They are pirates.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the information. You know, the Free Realms Commission is moving something for Cable that they're not officially supposed to be moving. So Orson is the person that you get the ID on, and Free Realms Commission is doing something with Cable, and it's not enough to confirm the Logistarch's suspicions, but one of the people that she had on her list of, I think this person might be, capable of or able to do this kind of video game work. One of those people is here talking with this group. So there's a tenuous connection, which is why I'm putting one of those ticks in the game connection clock for you. But with that, you have succeeded at this mission. You have done what you were hired to do, what you were engaged to do by the Bazaar Merchants Collective, which leaves us with Jojo and Lido Thruway on the shattered roof of this clinic. Do you get do you broadcast or do you send out a mission complete thing?
Yeah, mission success.
What is the reaction from Ollie and Reaching to learning this?
Reaching likes to maintain business demeanor on a mission, so it's just, all right, I'd like recordings of everything that we were able to grab, and we're going to try to clean it up when I get back. We need to bookmark surveillance for Vok, and maybe we could talk to Emran. I know they're close.
Yeah, Ollie is just like, yikes, because that's how Ollie rolls.
What's the keyword for mission complete that you text out?
Oh, geez.
Boondoggle.
Boondoggle.
So, Keva, as we see the sparring match ends, and Emran and Ravaging Zenith do that warrior hand clasp thing, and I think what is it? Ravening, not Ravaging. Ravening Zenith throws one of her super jacked arms around Emran's shoulders, and they're like, hey, and they wander off to go get a drink or something together. So Keva, you get the boondoggle notice. What do you do?
But gives a slight smile and is like, okay, anyone want to go get some ice cream or cheese?
And we'll fade out on that part of the scene with Eskerbeskra looking up and saying, I have heard of this cheese and would be delighted to try it. It's made from cows' fluids.
And goats and sheep. Yes.
Fascinating. So, and we'll fade out on that too. So we see this last standing here. Jojo, you get the boondoggle notice comes into your earpiece through your conch shell communicator, and Lido Thruway is coming towards you with their knives. You're standing on the precipice of the shattered roof. The people below are panicking. There's a superhero fight going on above them. People are running for cover. It's not clear exactly what's happened inside the clinic with the roof collapsing, but we'll deal with that when we get to it. Or you could deal with it now. Your call.
Ooh. Does it sound like people are hurt down there, or is it just like a general panic?
General, like from the streets, general panic. From inside the clinic, it's hard to tell because the roof caved in. So like the parts of the roof are like in the middle of collapsing into the clinic. It looks like the clinic is it's a two-story building, this clinic that you're on. So it's collapsed into the top floor of it, and like it's not entirely clear. There's a lot of dust and debris going on.
Oh, sounds like JoJo's gonna make a choice between like safeguarding the community and finishing the fight.
You know how much I like to tug on the strings that you give me on your characters.
I know. No, this is super solid. You know what? I think given that, now that they have exchanged names and are basically, in JoJo's eyes, formal rivals at this point, I think, there will be more battles in the future. I think, and, getting the boondoggle signal, I think JoJo will focus on preventing the roof from collapsing.
Okay, you're going to hop down into the clinic?
I believe so.
Okay. So yeah, you leap lightly down into the clinic as Leto is coming at you with the knives. So Leto is still pursuing you as you jump down here. So it's something we'll have to keep in mind as we go through this. You get down into there, and you can see that there are things, there's things that are collapsed. You can hear noises like alarms and stuff going off. From the shape of some of the rubble, it looks like there might be things under it. It's hard to tell if it's things or people. You can see a tube over in the corner that would be the kind of tube that would move people up and down from the first to the second floor of this clinic, and it is currently unobstructed. There looks like there is a bit of blood at the edge of it.
I will investigate just to ensure that no one is trapped underneath. Basically I'll move it to, I suppose, an empty part of the room.
Okay. All right. Sorry. What are you moving to the empty part of the room?
The rubble that seems to have fallen over the blood spot.
Oh, sorry. There's a blood spot at the edge of the elevator tube kind of thing.
Oh, gotcha. All right. I'll investigate that then. Make sure no one's hurt.
Okay. You get over there and you can see in the tube. It looks like somebody was bleeding and went down it into the clinic area below. The floor that you're on it's not like collapsing, but you can feel that it is not as solid as it should be. And you hear from behind you, underneath the rubble, you do hear a sound that could be a person. And Leto has come down behind you and is trying to get between you and the rubble where the noise is coming from.
I want to try to lift the rubble and position it between myself and Leto.
Okay. What kind of action do you think that is?
I think it could easily be skirmish or wayfare.
Okay.
Probably skirmish. I'm lifting heavy things.
Yeah, that could work. I would say it would be like that or Sunder, and I don't think Sunder is your strength, so.
Oh, I didn't even see a Sunder on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely skirmish.
Okay. With skirmish, so you're trying to ward Leto off as you are also moving the rubble. So your position remains desperate. You are both trying to get to somebody and also not get gotten. So with skirmish, I'll say that this is standard effect for you.
Cool. It does not like me today. Wow.
It does not like you very much, no. Okay, so you get the rubble up, and from the rubble, you see that there is definitely someone underneath this part of the rubble. And you are able to move the rubble but as you are picking it up and attempting to maneuver it between you and Lido gets under your guard, and you get, let's see here, there's some consequences here. Okay. I think it's just got to be harm at this point is the logical one. So level 3 harm in this case. Okay, so Lido comes in, and the issue with the battle that you had before is that, yes, you can meditate on it and remember things that happened in it, but so can Lido. And Lido saw where your heart is, and so Lido's knives are going there. So the level 3 harm here would be stabbed in the heart.
I hope it's not too late. I think, since Jojo never really carries any equipment, I think I will burn my full load for the 3 heavy armor.
Okay, so let's see here. Armor, let's see, plus heavy. I think the heavy armor is 2 load. Is it 2 or 3
okay.
load? I'm just going to quickly ask and see if anyone in the rules channel can answer. Oh, wait, no, it says 3. Yeah, so it is 3 load. Like you said, so you'll use your full load there to do it. Okay, so yeah, you've got your heavy armor. What does the armor look like that you've got here, surprising Leto's attack?
Does it have to be a physical item, or can that just be, myself kind of flashing that spiritual armor?
It says heavy polymer plates or an energy shield. If necessary, provides a few hours worth of oxygen. So, it's something heavy. So if it is flashing your spirit, it is something that would leave you depleted to do, if that makes sense, because it takes up load. So it has to be roughly equivalent to carrying that physical weight.
Yeah, maybe it is a sort of energy shield, but instead of something standing, it's going to be something designed to, kind of proc and then burn out at point of impact.
Okay, something that you have prepared, for just such a moment, perhaps. A technique. Okay, so the knives impact your chest where Leto saw you inject yourself with the adrenaline last combat. So what's the visual?
I think it's right before the knife strikes, it kind of slows down, and then right before it can pierce, it almost hits kind of like an invisible prismatic barrier, and for a second the barrier flashes and you can see that it actually covers all of Jojo, but then it almost immediately fizzles out. It's very much like a one hit type thing.
Okay. So you do this, and it's very tiring for you. I think the rubble crashes down, not back on top of where it was, but to a different part to the side. So you can still see that there's clearly something under the next bit of rubble. And the knives that were meant for your heart, they exploded when they impacted that. So Leto is staggered back in this moment, and they are scrambling to draw more knives from their knife belt. You have moments to act. Leto is on their back, and there's a person behind you, under the rubble behind you.
What kind of rubble is it? Is it something I could potentially wield as a weapon, or is it just kind of like a big slab of something?
It's big slabs of something, but you could potentially wield it as a weapon. It's the big slabs from the roof, so it's like heavy fungus. It's that red fungus with the white crosses on it.
So I have the Tidebreaker ability, and I can push myself to perform a superhuman feat of physical force.
Okay.
Could I pick up the rubble and kind of uppercut swing it at Lido to kind of knock them back up onto the roof?
Yeah, you want to team rocket them?
Yes.
Yeah, that sounds great.
I would like to make the attempt.
Sure. So yeah, it's you push yourself for 2 stress there. And yeah, this is definitely skirmish. That's skirmish. You're hitting them with a big weapon.
Good thing all these desperate rolls leveled up my skirmish.
Looks like they did. Your position is same here. Again, we're desperate and we're standard. Do you want to use Harmony or take a Lotus Gambit?
Yeah, I'll use Harmony. Do we still? I believe we have 2 because Reaching keeps getting those 6s to replenish it.
Yeah, there's a Harmony that you can use, so you can roll an additional die for that.
All right, let's try it out. There we go.
5, partial success. Okay. Yeah, you do this. So just describe how Lido gets blasted off again.
I think in those couple of seconds of limbo there, Jojo is struck with inspiration and realizes, well, Lido's trained against my punches and my spiritual energy, but they have not trained against just rubble. So in a very kind of as fluid emotion as this can elicit, they kind of almost like a downward dab, pick up the rubble and just kind of reverse the torque on their waist and swing it up at Lido.
I think Lido is just drawing their knives and coming towards you, and in that moment they get slammed and knocked up into the sky. And there is a bit of a twinkling, but it's not because they've flown too far. It's because something has ripped another hole in reality, which they fly through, and it seals again behind them. And Lido has been removed from the scene. You turn back behind you to see there is indeed an injured person who was under the rubble. It looks like, there's some blood coming out of them. They are making some vague noises, but they're not really conscious, and they've just been crushed under a roof that fell in on them. But this appears to be the only person up here who was trapped in the rubble.
Great. Jojo will, bridal carry them as gently as possible, back down to the first floor where I imagine most folks are congregated.
Okay. I am also going to, as a consequence here, create a negative clock and add 3 ticks to it. That's the desperate consequence. This negative clock is related to how Lido and whatever faction Lido is allied with are going to respond to this defeat, or this momentary defeat. So it is going to introduce in the future, when this clock fills, a serious problem for you to deal with that will probably affect more than just Jojo.
All right.
You can resist this if you wish, or you can accept the clock creation.
No, I'll accept the clock. This fits.
Okay. I will make a note of that. Call it Lido Reprisal Clock. Okay. Yeah, so you, I guess, take this person to a clinic that's not in the midst of collapsing.
Yes.
All right. So, yes, with that done, the mission is complete.